I'm joined now by Paul Glastris, Editor-in-Chief of the Washington Monthly and the former senior speechwriter to President Bill Clinton. Paul, welcome to you. Thanks very much for being with us. So as we heard in that report there, efforts to push for impeachment are progressing at a pace. But do you think it's inevitable now? Because there's still a long way to go, isn't there?
I don't think anything is inevitable. We've seen excitement on the part of Democrats before that fizzled. This does seem different. We'll see, but things are definitely moving very, very quickly.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi, the leading Democrat, wasn't in favor of impeachment when it was to do with the Russia probe. What's changed? What's different? What is making more Democrats in favor of it this time?
Well, I think she is following her base, her members, especially the members in swing districts that Donald Trump may have won that Democrats took back in last year. Those members are now saying they believe the right thing to do is have an impeachment inquiry, and she's backing those folks. I think her thinking is, let's get it done quickly so that we can pivot. No one really thinks that the Senate will convict even if the House impeaches. That's the way the system works. It's sort of a prosecution and then a jury kind of thing. Pelosi wants to get this done quickly. She knows that there is now growing support, more than majority support for an inquiry, and she's backing it. But I don't think she likes it. I don't think she thinks the politics are good for the Democrats. I'm not sure she's right, but that's what's going on.
Yeah, lots of points you just brought up there. As you said, most people think it's unlikely that a Republican-dominated Senate will vote to convict in this case. So what's the point if it potentially is very damaging for the Democrats, if it leads to just calls of them saying, well, this is a witch hunt of Republicans and Donald Trump, as we've heard, saying this is just a witch hunt? Doesn't it risk massively backfiring on the Democrats?
I don't know what evidence there is that'll massively backfire on the Democrats. The only example, we've only had 2 impeachments in U.S. history. One was Bill Clinton, and it did backfire on the Republicans. It was a different case, right? It was a hugely more minor incident. And so I don't think we know the politics. I think that there's a don't take risks attitude out there. If impeachment were to happen, if the Democrats were to impeach, one thing to keep your eye on is how the Senate will react. There are half a dozen Republican senators representing states that where they're in trouble, they could lose. The last thing those Republican senators want to do is vote on impeachment, because if they vote yes, they lose votes. If they vote no, they lose votes.
What do you make of... Sorry, carry on.
Well, just the politics of this are a little bit hard to parse. And to answer your question, why are Democrats getting behind it? Because this was a very gross violation, a gross abuse of power, at least based on the facts we now know. And, you know, you can only hold one can only hold oneself back because of political reasons so long. At some point, the Democrats risk alienating their own voters if they don't move forward with an impeachment inquiry.
OK, interesting to get your thoughts. Paul Glastris, Editor-in-Chief of the Washington Monthly. Thanks very much for joining us from Washington there. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Police in Hong Kong have fired a water cannon to disperse protesters who are holding a